Hello, thank you for joining me. Um, this video is on the topic of semen retention. It's been a long while since I've made one of these videos. My most popular video was about this topic a couple years back, and I feel like there is a lot of cloudiness and fog that surrounds this topic and this practice. A lot of men and a lot of people want to practice semen retention. They want to practice this form of energy, this form of energetic manipulation. But I feel like a thing that a lot of people don't understand about semen retention is that they just take it at face value. Semen retention does not only mean to retain your seed and retain your energy, but it also means to retain your seed, retain your energy, and manipulate that energy into working towards yourself. Manipulate that energy into getting the life that you want and building yourself towards that person in which you want to be. But majority of men practice this topic, practice semen retention, but a lot of them practice it from a lens of ignorance. They think that the end all be all is that they stop, releasing. But in reality, a thing that I feel like most people do not talk about when it comes to semen retention is the temptations of the early stages of semen retention. Obviously, you're gonna have temptations when you begin semen retention. You're gonna have temptations of lust, temptations of failing yourself, essentially, wanting to backtrack. But you have to understand that you are not your thoughts. Once you conquer that person in which you think you are up here, the thoughts that manifest, the thoughts that manifest up here, they're not truly going to affect you until action is bestowed upon them. See, I can think about something, but I'm not gonna do that thing. Therefore, that action is not bestowed upon it. It is just a thought. If I can think about it and I see the thought and I just let it go, then the thought doesn't exist anymore. We have to do this practice and put this to practice when we are beginning semen retention. Because a lot of us quickly, fall victim quickly to lust when practicing this. I've had friends who I've told to practice it, and they told me they have lasted only a day, only a week, 2 days, whatever. And in reality, this is a very common occurrence. It is a very common occurrence. And it all comes back to a bigger picture. When you tell yourself you're going to do something and you want to do something, how you respond to that word, to that voice of yours, how you respond to that is the tell all be all of the future, right? The cause and the effect. If I tell myself I'm going to practice semen retention, I am not going to bite at all of my urges. I am not going to bite and continue to disrespect myself. No, that's not how we are supposed to be doing this. That is not how you're supposed to be living as a human being. You're not supposed to be disrespecting yourself. If I want to practice this, if I want to do this, I'm going to do everything in my power to avoid failing myself. I don't want to keep restarting over and over and over again and making the same excuse that this time it's going to be different, that this time I'm not going to fail, that this time I'm not going to listen to my urges. When in reality, you begin to find yourself in a pattern, a never-ending pattern, a never-ending cycle, a dog chasing its own tail. You continue to fail because you continue to not believe in yourself. You don't want it bad enough within yourself, and you don't see a better version of yourself. Well, you see this better version, but you're very vague to it. It's very cloudy, it's very foggy. Though you see it, your actions speak louder. It just tells you that you don't want this bad enough. Now, the key is to tricking yourself, understanding that you are the one that is thinking these thoughts. You are not your thoughts. You're not attached to these thoughts. You're the thinker. You're the observer. So observe. Catch yourself. Listen to yourself. And analyze. When you get a bad thought, when you get a bad urge, take a step back. Take a seat in your mind and observe this thought. Observe this disturbance. And then take action. And then see how you want to go about go about dealing with it, so to say. That is a very common thing that I don't think a lot of people talk about. See, people make it seem like semen retention is essentially the easiest thing in the world. That is just, semen retention is just the path. There are many other, what's it called, conclusions to this, end goals. It is just a path. Once you start the path, then it opens up to you and then you see things. Because just because you do semen retention does not mean that life is just going to magically transform for you. Yes, in some capacity it will, and you will recognize the patterns that change, but you have to take action whilst you're in this path. You have to be willing to seek for knowledge. Be willing to practice and sit within yourself. Find the gnosis. Search for it. Seek that. Because through semen retention, we can practice sexual transmutation. We can practice transmuting this energy into working for us, into giving us the life that we want. Many of us just think that, oh, if I do semen retention, women, this is a very human and caveman way of thinking. Though it works, it is a very, don't start semen retention for this sole reason, because it's a spit in the face to what it actually is. You see it all the time in the videos. Oh, do semen retention if you want women to be attracted to you. Do semen retention if you want to be attracted. Like, it's all stupid, worldly things. Like, I could care less about any of that. And please do not care about that. Yes, it works, but do not let that be the sole reason you begin this journey. Because the temptations grow stronger when you feed into those. When you feed into that, the temptations will eventually take over. 1 second. Jacket fell. So you have to be very disciplined and very willing to change. You have to be willing to change. And that's with everything. This is a practice that we can all apply to ourselves. A practice we can apply to our very own life. Yes, people will get attracted to you. Yes, your energy will change. Yes, your field will change. The world will be seen through a different perspective, a different lens. But this is all only if you're willing to not fail yourself. You understand? You cannot see the full picture if you continue to make the same mistakes. It'll just be a picture that's all jagged and all disturbed and all just messy, just all messy. But you have to take in consideration that, like I said, there's more things to this than meets the eye. Your energy will heighten. Your temptations will lower the more you go. Like the idea of lust, the idea of masturbation, things like this, they all disappear. And the thought of it, me personally, it disgusts me, and it's just, I can't remember the last time I ever did that. Truth be told, I'm telling you. So I started semen retention when I was 16 years old. So let that, and I'm 22 now. I turned 23 this year, so you do the math on that. But yes, understand that this is I don't want to necessarily say that it's bigger than us, because it is not bigger than us. It is a tool we can use and to manipulate our energy into a better world for ourselves and for the people that we love. You don't want to take this energy and what's that word? Pollute it. You don't want to pollute this. Don't pollute yourself when you're practicing this, because when you pollute yourself whilst you're practicing this, it is going to hit you very hard and you are going to get drained very fast. So beware of what you surround yourself with, who you surround yourself with, and the things you do, because everything will try and get you to fail. Not necessarily everything, but you will see the signs. You will see the signs. Most importantly, the thing that will get you to fail the most is yourself. Your very self. So you have to be patient with yourself, and you have to be willing to take a step back and understand things and learn things and just sit with yourself. I feel like that is the biggest thing of all this, is that the reason most people do not see success with this is because they're ignorant and they're very full of themselves. They see this as a magical thing, oh, I'm gonna do this, and then It's going to make me the world's strongest man. It's going to make me the most brilliant person, the most beautiful person, stuff like that. And that is when you pollute it. That is when you pollute the practice of it. So do not do that to yourself. Understand that your energy will change and meditations will be enhanced. You will have more dreams. You will have callings, so to say, if that makes any sense. But you must meditate and you must practice some type of meditation when you're on semen retention, because that's when the benefits actually kick in. That is when the transformation of energy and the transmutation of energy will be seen. Practice semen retention and meditate. Meditate for the life that you want, see the life that you want, envision the life that you want. Continue to do this every single day, but also put in the practice. I cannot want to be somebody without actually putting myself in the practice of being that person. If I want to be a millionaire, I'm not going to do non-millionaire things. I'm going to put the energy into practice because that is the life that I want to live. So therefore, if I put myself in the water, eventually I'm going to get submerged by the water and become that person in which I want it to be. You understand? So practice this within yourself. Be patient within yourself and understand this within yourself especially. Do not treat anyone wrong. Do not spew hate to anyone. If you get urges, analyze them. Watch them from a distance and sit with yourself and conversate with yourself. It's okay to sometimes just speak out loud. The only person that's listening is you and obviously God. So speak positively about yourself. Ask yourself questions and maybe, not maybe, but for sure, you will get an answer in your times of despair and in your times of hard troubles. You will get an answer, I promise you. You will get an answer, but you have to be willing to listen. Just ignore all the noise and just listen. Listen to now, present moment existence. The only thing that ever existed is right now. Yeah. I feel like I could have said some more things, but I guess I'll leave the video here. I feel like I'm at a good point, and I feel like I've said enough to actually help somebody, or maybe this kind of re-inspired you to practice again and be willing to not fail, be willing to not fail yourself. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how else to say this. But yeah, thank you for listening. I appreciate you. If the sun has just risen, I hope you have a good day and a good experience. And if the night has just fallen, I hope you have a good night, some great dreams, and all that. Rest well. It's been a while since I said that. Peace. Let me get a thumbnail shot. I don't know what I'm doing. See y'all later.